Yo guys, this is Reinhardt, this is your favorite Russian talking, and as I'm coming back to the game, as I'm getting familiar with the mechanics, different ways of playing it, I would like to share you guys one of the specs that let me play very successfully against a melee DPS at a sub 2k rating at about 1950. I'm a scrap tard, I'm coming back, I'm learning. But the things I like about the spec quite a bit is that it lets you dish out quite a bit of damage while still having a kiting capability. So first, let's talk about the spec itself. As you guys can see on the right, I decided to go with a heavy dot spec, going with Ebon Fever, Plaguebringer, and Unholy Blight. Why? Well, fully spec'd into Mastery, your Virulent Plague will do up to 120k damage with all your damage procs rolling. That's within 13 seconds. Your Unholy Blight will do 140k damage. That's 260k damage per target, and you're usually gonna get another 100k damage on top of from the other two dots. You can get somebody down 50% HP within 10 to 15 second time frame window with just your dots alone. Let's just think it. That damage for Unholy DK is really good. What I found out is you cannot really kite melee DPS that effectively using Clawing Shadow because they still have charges, they're still gonna get on you, they're still gonna stun you. However, during the time when you're gonna get Dookie down, when you're gonna get disarmed, when you're gonna get stunned, you will have the damage rolling with your diseases, which I also like. Another reason why I also like the spec is you go with a Defile. Defile with a 90% snare and 2 different charges is a godsend for our survivability. The main survivability is actually kind of kiting on the outer edge of Defile while trying to keep the melee in here, in kind of a center. So if they go into you here, this right here is about 5 to 7 yard range. It's not enough for warrior to charge you, and it's not enough for him to melee you at the same time. So while you're death coiling his ass here, you also proc a 90% snare. And what you do after that, you pop in for a couple Scourge Strikes and you come back. So you can have Ebon Plaguebringer here rolling. Also this, Pestilence is an amazing talent because what I noticed on average, per 1 Defile, you will at least gonna get 1 Festering Wound. Getting 1 Festering Wound, that's a huge compounded value from Defile alone. Think about it this way, my friends. When you pop a Defile on 2 targets, you're gonna get 2 Festering Wounds, at least. Your Scourge Strike is gonna hit 2 targets, they're gonna be 90% snare. It's as almost as if Defile has same damage value of the Festering Strike while being ranged AoE 90% snare ability. And also gives you a bit of a mastery. Let that think in for a second. That's why I think this against melee is amazing. If I fight against a lot of druids and I want to kill a druid, I'm gonna spec into Defile. Why? Because the rest of druids cannot shape shift out of this. What you're gonna be losing going with the spec is you're gonna lose your Rotten Touch, you're gonna lose your Harbinger of Doom. And those are also very good talents. No cap. I also going with a Gargoyle instead of Magus of the Dread, and I'm not going with any talent reduction to essentially my Timmy the Ghoul. On the left side, I also made a few changes. I decided not to go with this route right here and go with a more of an actual Soul Reaper. Save a few points. Enfeeble is good, but when I read the patch notes, it's only 6% damage mitigation instead of 15, which is not the greatest. What that means essentially is I think that Sacrificial Pact is really good, especially if you use Sacrificial Pact early in a game. That means you can spread out your defenses much better, like your IBF and everything else. Also, I did not decide to go with Acclamation and Proliferating Chill. Instead, I decided to go with a Gloom Ward and Permafrost. So this talent right here is essentially optional. Either I'm gonna go with a Permafrost or I'm gonna go with Anti-Magic Barrier, depending on which melee I'm fighting. If it's a pure 100% physical, you bet your ass I'm gonna go this route right here. Also, subsequently, I'm gonna go actually this route right here. I'm gonna still use the Death Pact early in the game against the 2 melee. I'm gonna save other defensives, why not? And I'm gonna get it with the Gloom Ward. I'm gonna forsake the Anti-Magic Zone. So another thing which you guys notice, I also spec'd into the Blood Sand, and I'm gonna got 3% into the Leech, and I also got the Leech enchants, which puts my Leech at about 5%, which is not bad at all. So, and also this gets affected by your versatility as well. So think about it this way for a second, my friends. You have 5% Leech, you have dots rolling like crazy, you have a bit of a permafrost mitigation, you have a 50% extra mitigation for your anti-magic shell and your Wheel of Necropolis here, and you also have a lot of spread AoE damage pressure here. If you guys want to see this this kind of a gameplay style in effect, I have arena matches in my previous video. Please check it out down below. Love you guys, and see you guys later.